Hi everyone, you have reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. To all of you out there, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so every time I upload a video, you will be notified. And if you like this video, please hit like. And also, if you have something to say to me, just drop a note in the comments and I will respond. But once again, thank you for stopping by. Today, I'm going to give you a quick moment of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 2. I was a little disappointed. It wasn't as hyped as I thought it was going to be. A lot didn't really go on. It was no real dramatic moments. It was just kind of like, I'll say, like an even flow. And I really thought it was going to be a lot because Monique has her binder of receipts. And so I just assumed and thought that she would be dropping little seeds out of that binder for part 1, part 2, and part 3. It really didn't happen last night. It was nothing else that was kind of dug up out of the binder. I will say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you have been watching these Real Housewives franchises for a while, anytime you see the reunion, you can almost clearly see whose side Andy is on or who Andy really likes from the franchise. I will say this hands down, Andy loves Gizelle. Loves Gizelle. And I'm not mad at him because I hate to say this, Gizelle is one, even though she's messy, but they're all messy. They're all messy. So it really depends on what level of messiness can you deal with and do you like. Because I don't care what franchise it is, they are all messy. So with that being said, Andy, he loves Gizelle. He went so easy on her with these receipts that Monique dropped. And every time Monique tried to say something about, any situation with Gizelle, Andy was on Gizelle's side. So Gizelle, she's lucky. She got the host of the show on her side. I mean, it was clear to me. I don't know if it was to you, but once again, drop a comment and let me know how you feel. But I'm going to tell you why I feel that Andy is 100% on Gizelle's side and he loves Gizelle. So let's get into it a little bit here. So one of the things that they addressed last night is Monique again had a moment where she talked about how she really felt that Gizelle was part of the plot against her to get her off the show, and that was talking about Chris is not the father, or Gizelle didn't really say that, but she alluded to the fact that Chris may not be the father of their youngest child, which of course I don't care how much I like Gizelle, I think that was wrong. So but Gizelle alluded to these things, but the rumors on the street is that Monique's one of her best friends that was on for one season, in a couple of episodes or whatever. They're saying that Monique's best friend is the one that started all of these rumors and that was calling the different cast members, trying to give them this information because she wanted to get on the show. And I 100% wholeheartedly believe that. Jealousy is a beast. And I do feel that, Monique's friend was probably jealous of her, still probably jealous of her, and was feeding this information so that she can get on the show. I wholeheartedly believe that. But Monique, speak to your girlfriend. Speak to your girlfriend. Gizelle and any other cast member would not be able to have this information if she didn't feed it to them. So, you got to start at the root cause of the situation. And your own ex-bestie is the root cause of the situation. Yeah, Gizelle and the rest of them might have carried some bones, might have been the bone carrier, but your girlfriend gave them the bone and tossed them the ball so they could start the relay race or the baton or whatever. So, blame your boo. So that's number one. But Andy jumped in, and that's why I said Andy loves Gizelle. Andy jumped in and told Monique that, you're talking about this plot, but we didn't really air that on the show. You're talking about this plot, but, and what Gizelle allegedly said or didn't say, but all of that you're saying that Gizelle did, we did not air on the show. So, ding. Tag for Gizelle. Andy stepped in and helped her out. That was the first time in this episode last night. And that's why I'm telling you, Andy loves Gizelle. So now let's move forward. Let's move forward. The sad part is they talked about the altercation and they showed us the footage, and they did say that Bravo does not condone violence. So they showed us the altercation, and it was time to talk about that with Monique and Candace. I don't care which one of these girls you favor, which one of these girls you like. We all have our favorites when it comes to these shows. But whether Monique is your favorite or not, Monique was dead wrong. She's still dead wrong. And she's so messy when it comes to this situation. Last night, once again, she had no remorse. She did not apologize to Candace, and according to everything that everyone's saying, they haven't seen each other, because I watched Andy live afterwards. They haven't seen each other in over a year. So, because the show tapes way before we see it. So you have this opportunity now. You saw the footage yourself to say, you know what, Candace, I made a mistake. I thought you threw a glass in my face. I thought you threw wine in my face. I thought that you pushed me, but now we see it was someone else's hand. So I wholeheartedly apologize for how I handled that situation. But Monique was just acting on nonchalant. Actually, she was acting kind of cold. They call, what is her name? Erica Jane from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, an ice queen. Well, Monique is the ice queen of the Real Housewives of Potomac. She did not budge. She could care less. She was just sitting there like, oh, well, whatever. Okay? When they showed her the footage and showed her the tape, and they was like, Monique, what you thought happened and what you're saying has happened now is not the true story. She claimed, Candace, touched her first. They showed the footage. Candace didn't touch her first. She then claimed, Candace threw wine in her face. Showed the footage. No wine was thrown in her face by Candace. She thought Candace's hand is the one that pushed her. Come to find out, it was Gizelle's hand. And I do believe Gizelle in this, and not just because I like her. It was Gizelle's hand, but Gizelle said, I was trying to stop the fight, not, push Monique. And I wholeheartedly believe that. So, now once again, Monique has more information that Candace didn't push you. Candace didn't throw wine in your face. Candace wasn't waving a broken glass in your face. Proved all of this to her. She still was sitting there like, whatever, I'm not built like that. I don't get my emotions like that. I have to process it. Girl, it's been a year. What else do you need to process? It's been a year. You see the footage. The footage don't lie. And you still can't sit here and say that you sorry, that you apologize? Well, Andy wasn't here for it, wasn't having it, and was giving her the questions back to say that didn't happen. Can you apologize? Will you apologize? Nothing from Monique. Ice Queen. She has her story and she's going to stick to it to the end. And then Candace was, of course, Candace is very emotional, and I get that. I could be like that sometimes too. But what Candace said was that, Monique knew the truth after a while because they both had the footage, and Monique let this narrative play out in, real life about, Candace like starting this fight and Candace deserving to be dragged and beat. Where does that happen at? Where, when, and how is words enough to provoke somebody and we can put our hands on somebody because of words? That makes no sense. We will all be getting a beat down at some point in our life if people were allowed to touch us over the words that come out of our mouth. All of us in our lifetime have came out our mouth really slick. So if people are now allowed to just beat you down because of the words that come out of your mouth, there will be fights every day, all day long. People come out their mouth slick all the time. And I know what you're going to say to me, but Candace keeps poking her and poking her and poking her. Candace didn't poke her no more than anybody else does on these reality shows. And matter of fact, the entire season, and they brought this up last night too, the entire season, Monique was just straight nasty to Candace, and Candace kept her cool and kept calm. So in this situation, I'm on Candace's side. I don't care what anyone says. I'm on Candace's side. Monique was dead wrong. And even when they showed the footage where Monique afterwards was like, oh, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to go back in there and beat her. I'm going to beat her behind. Like, you're grown. Who does that? Where you doing that at? They showed that footage. Monique was still sitting there like, whatever, okay, whatever. You know, oh, now she crying. She's still hurt over this. Yes, she hurt. Because here's the unfortunate thing too. I think sometimes fans take situations too far. I don't know where this culture came from, where if they feel somebody is wrong, they start saying kill yourself, and they're threatening to tell people to do, you know, bad things like that. It's just terrible. I think it's absolutely just horrible. It's like, you know, we gotta just be a fan. You can't start threatening people and telling them to do bad things to themselves because you don't agree with something that happened on the show. Like, that is just crazy. So Candace has gotten a lot of threats. Allegedly, what's the name? Robin and Gizelle has gotten threats too. It's just crazy. I don't think anything should go that far. It was a situation that happened. I don't think fans should be threatening any one of the ladies. I just think that that piece they took too far. So they touched on the altercation. To me, nothing really got resolved because Monique was being an ice queen. She was just sitting there like, oh, well, whatever. I'm not wrong. I'm sticking to my story, and that's it. I don't care what footage you'll show. I don't care what y'all do. It happened, and that's it. So I didn't really like the unresolution that should have been a resolution to that altercation last night. I would have really liked it if Monique would apologize, Candace would apologize, and they just would have like hugged it out and made up. So that to me is just left open. Maybe on part 3 they can close it out. Not sure, hoping so, because I really didn't like the way it ended last night with that. So another thing that came up is they kind of addressed, you know, Karen and how she seemed to be more open this season. And she gave her reason why. Whatever. I mean, I kind of, well, let me not say whatever. I'll take that back a little bit and say I do believe Karen, because Karen says she's more open now because, you know, after the passing of both of her parents, she just, you know, she looks at life differently. I can wholeheartedly believe that. You know, could be some things that can happen in your life that'll trigger you to say, you know what, I'm just going for it now. I'm going to live my life. Life is short. Life is precious. And I'm really going to live. So I'll accept that from Karen. But what I can't accept from Karen is messy. Karen plays both sides of the fence. And she's on the side of the fence that's convenient for her at the moment. And right now, her, Ashley, are Team Monique. Not mad at them. Whatever. Monique needs, you know, someone on her team. So Karen and Ashley are Team Monique, and then we have the other girls that are all on Candace's side, and I'm sorry, rightfully so. Wendy's on her side, Gizelle's on her side, and so is Robin. So that was another situation that they dealt with last night, just Karen being more open this season. They talked about Karen's knockoff Fendi dress, but you know what, that is what it is. That really did not bother me. So we also found out last night that unfortunately, not only is, you know, Gizelle's pastor, husband, ex-husband, boyfriend, whatever, is not showing up to the reunion, which we're not shocked about. Robin's husband is not going to be there, and Ashley's husband is not going to be there. And I said to myself, wow, how convenient. I understand why, in my mind, why Ashley's husband is not going to be there for the reunion part 3 is because he can't take the heat. And when Michael starts the drinking, I think his true self comes out. I don't know Michael's whole story and his business, but I wholeheartedly believe that Michael is allegedly bisexual, but I feel like Michael prefers men more than he does women, and nothing is wrong with that. But I think because he's not living his true authentic self, that's why when he gets to drinking, he gets the loosey goosey with them lips, and he starts talking and he gets himself up in the bind. They brought up last night how one season, whatever season that was, where Michael touched one of the producers' butt, and they actually showed the footage. I mean, Ashley, I think, is a little bit in denial. Regardless of anything, I really feel she knows that her relationship is not the, I guess, traditional relationship. And my thing is, if that's what you signed up for, that's fine. But just tell everybody that, so we're not looking at your relationship sideways saying like, why are you letting your husband do all this stuff? As she has claimed, I guess, to soften the blow of her relationship with us. Oh, I cheated on my husband too. We had 3 sons. I don't believe it for not 2 seconds. Not even 1 second. I don't believe it. I think she's making excuses, and I think she doesn't want anybody to come at her relationship. And I get it, because it's, it can be very emotional. It can be very heart-wrenching, especially now she's in a sensitive moment because she's about to have baby number 2. Andy, because Andy's messy. Andy asked her if, Michael cheats again, would you leave him? Ashley said yes, but no, she won't. She's going to be right there. Ashley took them vows very seriously. They said, for better or for worse, and for better or for worse, she's going to hang in there. To death do them part, and to death do them part, Ashley's going to hang in there. Her marriage, her business. I mean, I couldn't do it, but hey, I'm not Ashley, so, more power to her. But I know, and I'm not surprised that he's not showing up for this reunion, and the claim is that he had to go to a friend's wedding. Well, how many weddings? I mean, I guess Cynthia from the Real Housewives of Atlanta had a wedding in the pandemic, but how many weddings are you having in the pandemic? He had to go to a friend's wedding. Okay, no, he didn't want to come and face the music at this reunion, and I'm not shocked, because I wanted him to answer to that last episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac, when he was claiming that Robin's man was not going to propose to her. He swore he knew something as to why Robin's man was not going to propose to her. I wanted him to answer to that. And then ironically, I don't know, Juan had something to do, so he's not showing up for the reunion either, and that's Robin's husband. And I'm like, yeah, ain't that something? The both of them not going to show up? Because the fans had questions. All of a sudden, Robin's husband and Ashley's husband are this tight, this close, and he just swore up and down. Michael swore up and down. He's like, there is no way that he is going to propose to Robin tonight. And I think he completely lost it when he did propose. I think he lost it. He fell out. He lost his natural mind when he actually proposed. So we needed to have questions asked to him, to the both of them, about that situation. But ironically, they're both busy and they're both not going to show up. So the only husbands that we're going to see at this reunion is Monique's husband, Chris, and then Candace's husband. What are you going to do? Those are the only 2 husbands. But I think that, it's going to be hot and heavy, because it looked like it's going to be hot and heavy for part 3. And part 3 is actually going to be 90 minutes. So I can't wait till next Sunday to see what's actually going to happen. But like I said, Andy loves Gizelle. He defended her about 3 to 4 times last night. I'm not mad at him, because I actually happen to love Gizelle. And I really think that without those 2, without Gizelle and Robin on the show, it would not be the same. Cameron, I could, I take her because she's on the show. I do not want her to lose her job. But, either here, there, wherever, if I don't see her in the scene, it doesn't make me any difference. Another thing they addressed, which was interesting, they addressed the money that the ladies are now making, and how their men feel about it, or whatever the case may be. Robin said that her and her husband, they do everything equally. Gizelle, she's doing everything herself anyway. And then, the rest of them kind of really didn't chime in about it, but Monique did. Monique claims that the money that she gets from the show is nothing. Her husband still brings in more money, so they're good. The money she gets from the show is though that she can do her ventures and she doesn't have to ask her husband for any money. Andy was like, really? He's still making that much money? But, Andy is messy, and that's what Andy does. So the last thing I want to address before I let y'all go is that allegedly Gizelle had this plot with Jamal, because she needed a storyline or whatever the case may be. And the word on the street is that she allegedly offered him or was going to give him $100K to do this plot with her. I really hope she did not give him that money, because he was in 1.1 scenes this past season, and that is certainly not worth $100K of her dollars. He was in the scene where they did the restaurant for the girls, which was just a train wreck, because you have multiple kids and you're only giving 3 of your girls this restaurant. So messy Jamal, but whatever. He was in that scene. And then he was in another scene where it was, I guess, FaceTime video, whatever they showed of him, where he didn't make it to the photo shoot, the family photo shoot. So for 1.1 scenes, it's not worth $100K. So Gizelle, I hope you don't give him that money. I don't even know if he deserves $10,000 for his efforts. And actually, I would say give him 1,000 or 2, or maybe 5,000. I really wouldn't give him anything, but that's me. But if you have to give him some money, I would give him $5K, because if he decided to do this plot with you, he did not follow it through to the end. He should have been on that reunion show, because we got mad questions for him too. But of course he's not going to come, because unfortunately everything that he's doing, or that the streets are saying that he's doing, is probably correct. Here's the other place where Andy saved Gizelle again. That's why I said I was sitting at home like baffled. I'm like, Andy loves her. So Andy saved Gizelle again, because what he said was, I highly doubt that Jamal would come on the show knowing that he's still messing with all of these other women and just, do that. He said, I just can't see him doing that. I said, look at, press the save button, because Andy saved Gizelle again. And I'm like, yeah, I could see him doing that. Because when you're arrogant and you just think you got everything under control, he probably told one of the side chicks, allegedly, that, don't worry, I'm just doing this for this money right here. But he forgot to inform the other ones. So people were pissed seeing you up there parading around. And I can't even say parading around, because like I said, he was in 1.1 scenes. 1.1 scenes. Anyway, guys, that's my little recap, or my assessment on the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 2. Drop a comment, talk to me in any way. Until my next video, stay safe, love your friends and family, hug your friends, and wear your mask. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.